buddy. Doing what we love, keeping an eye on tech so you don't have to. Happy to have you along. Jay Harrison, Sam Bushman. Tech Watch is the broadcast. We're having a great time already, and we haven't even started. NPITechGuys.com is the website for the show. NetworkProvidersInc.com is the company that underwrites the show. You have got a strategic partner when you look to network providers for guidance in IT. They've got all kinds of things. A help desk, security, endpoint protection, consultants, strategists, security. If you're some kind of a medical establishment, they've got HIPAA compliant capabilities. They've got insurance. They've got pen testing. I mean, it just goes on and on of the incredible capabilities NetworkProvidersInc.com has for you. Get your 15-minute free consulting to see if you're a fit for NetworkProvidersInc.com. Jay Harrison with me. Welcome, sir.
Hey, Sam. How's it going?
So last episode, I was able to talk about this little new device. They've got a new... it's a solar panel capability that you can just flat out plug in. And I guess it follows the 137 something, whatever spec that's international. And it's supposed to be okay. The problem in America is even though they're ready to release this thing, there's all kinds of laws against doing it, Jay. So there's kind of some concerns, stumbling blocks. But it's the first solar power, just plug it in devices they're coming up with. You don't have to have just a little one like a radio or a calculator or something big that's on your roof. You can just plug it in. It's pretty cool.
I love this idea personally. I think
no doubt.
So this is supposed to be able to comply with the UL 3700 code. That's Underwriters Laboratory. And the idea is you can just plug it right into your wall. And as I understand it, the idea is that this will supplement your electricity. Like it syncs up with the power inverter, the sine wave that's already there from your shore power.
Yes.
And it will just supplement your system with whatever.
So the point is it doesn't backfeed. It doesn't do all, you don't have all those complications, right?
Right. And in fact, usually on systems like this, it will sense that power's there and it won't even feed if it isn't. So let's say your power goes out. It's not going to backfeed your whole grid and try to, uplink because if there's no power there at all, it will just, because it's trying to stay in synchronous with that, it will just
what
shut
it will
down.
do is it'll either shut down and or it'll just replace the power and run, right?
Well, it can't if it's plugged into your system. Now, maybe you plug your line power, your utility power into this and then plug your appliances into it, and it supplements with the line power so your item can run whatever. And then if you lose power, then your system will continue
solar
to run
system,
from the
if
solar.
it had enough, would take over, and then
Yeah.
eventually you'd put some downstream serialized or parallel batteries to them and everything else, and then pretty soon, and that's eventually the goal. I think eventually that's what they're going for, is to where it's like, hey, I can have a big bank of batteries somewhere, Jay. I can plug this thing in. If I've got enough of them, I can take power from the power company. And eventually there'll be timers related to this too, to where during the day I don't take power from the power company. At night I seamlessly switch to it.
Right.
Right now people have to have kind of a transfer switch plugged into their power panel or whatever, and they have to, et cetera. Or it has to have an auto switch because it backfeeds and because it conflicts with. This thing is supposed to be smart enough on the fly to adjust and do these details. And so eventually the goal would be, I don't know if I'm on batteries or if I'm on the power from the power company or I'm on some of both. I don't know, don't care. It just works, right? I mean, that's eventually where they're going to try to get to.
That's exactly right. And that's what you want. You want to be able, as people that want to hobby into some solar, want to be able to have their short system. Right now, you have to keep the systems completely separate. You can't have a solar system that's tied into the grid without a whole bunch of code, inspections, licensing, which, some people argue has been made purposely difficult to kind of keep people out from toying with solar. So these ideas of these microinverters or these ones that sync up and have the protections in mind. Now, mind you, there are some laws in states that may even prevent this. So they're still working it out legally to see, but at least they're working on something that could be compliant, and you would be able to plug in to your regular grid stuff and not have any problems there where you're going to backfeed if the system's down, or it's going to get out of sync or tear up other equipment or other people's stuff.
And I get the laws and rules that are designed to protect people. And when you're especially talking about power, Jay, of all kinds of power, and sometimes it's, 110 or whatever, 220, you got to be really careful with some of that. So I do get some of the laws that are designed to protect people.
Right.
And I understand the need for that and everything else. I just hope that as we innovate and as we bring new market capabilities to the table, especially like this, we're really, needing power big time. Our desire for power is increasing exponentially. So I don't want them to put off and hold off these kind of things for political reasons or for whatever complications. I want them to work through this and get rid of the red tape. But yet I do support the safety side of it. We got to make sure that you're right, that it doesn't misbehave and just shock somebody into oblivion because this or that. There's some things to be concerned about here, right?
But there's a lot of people that want just a little bit of supplemental solar, almost like a UPS, where, hey, if I've got sun and I've got a balcony or I've got some south-facing wall, I can put up a couple hundred watts of a few panels, and then, while I'm sleeping at night, my fan or my CPAP or my whatever, my oxygen machine, these things that I want, they can continue, or even just a few lights in the room can continue on, and they don't have to be reliant on grid power and automatically switch over. And or during the day, use the power from the sun whenever it's available and as much as available, and not have to maintain battery banks and all this other kind of stuff. And that is a key thing, I think, that will not only does it help the little guy who wants to be able to do that stuff and kind of toy with it or hobby with it or has some other needs, but that's going to help the electrical grid in general, especially in high peak demand times in the middle of the day when everybody's charging, when everybody's using just tons and tons of air conditioning and everything else. If you're offsetting some of that stuff, that's good for everybody, I think.
Yeah, and I really think, for example, if people have an internet connections, a lot of times it can stay up.
That's
even
right.
If the power goes out for you, and if you can put that on your internet connection at least, then, hey, you can still make phone calls on your Wi-Fi to keep in touch with people. You can still, all I'm saying is there's a lot to that. Just saying, hey, I'm going to keep my internet up, or maybe my alarm system, or, all I'm saying is there's a lot of simple things that could take advantage of this that could really be valuable. So anyway, we'll see what this does, but it's an interesting innovation that I thought was worth bringing to everybody's attention.
Very cool stuff.
All right, Apple, I don't even know what to do. I just, is it okay on the radio to say you just want to slap them? Can I say that?
You could say it. As long as we know it's facetious.
I don't mean to be violent, folks, and I never would mean anything like that. I'm just saying this is the stupidest idea I've ever heard of in my entire life. Apple's, quote, new leasing program turns iPhones into dumb phones if payments are missed. Apple is set to unveil its, quote, new device leasing program. They call it Apple Upgrade. I'm calling it a downgrade at this point, which will include, quote, stringent controls on device functionality if users fall behind on payments. The program, as revealed by Bloomberg and reported by 9 to 5 Mag or whatever, features a, quote, restricted mode. And it turns the device into a mere shadow of its, quote, smart capabilities. It's scheduled for launch on July 28th, and this initiative will encompass iPhones, Macs, iPads, and Apple Watches. However, they say the program notably excludes Apple Care benefits and allows, quote, remote interventions for factory resets, et cetera, et cetera. And they say that it creates significant limitations for users while still letting them carry or have app subscription fees. Jay, I don't even know how to respond to this, but I almost really want to leave the whole ecosystem of Apple over this.
I don't. I actually applaud Apple. I don't think it's great, but I think I take the other side on this issue a little bit. This will allow people to buy phones without having to come up with $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 and pay them on a plan. It's no different, I think, really than you buy a car from a car company. You can't pay for it all at once. As long as you're making your payments, you get the car. If you don't, it gets repoed. At least in this case, your phone gets kind of nerfed, but you can still make phone calls. You can still use some emergency kind of things to it. But when then you catch up on payments and you're back up, it doesn't. The phone doesn't belong to you right now. If you're buying it, you can't just buy something, agree to a plan. And
but remember, it says it's a lease, though. It's a lease, so you're not ever buying it.
Well, again, but same thing as renting. That's just whether you own it at the
I
end
would never
or not.
lease a car. I would never lease a car either, by the way.
Well, and that's a good point. I'm not saying that leasing is a great option or a great deal, but it is good to have options. And as long as you know it going into it, that, hey, this is what you're getting. You're renting a phone, basically. So look at it that
understand.
way. If you rent a phone,
the problem
and you stop
I see,
paying the
though,
bill,
is people who are poor and would have to do this in the first place are the people that are going to struggle to make the payments. And so I can just see people basically, getting this device and having it locked down most of the time. And there's got to be a better way. Find a less expensive phone that you can own.
yeah,
that you can,
an Android phone,
whatever.
you can buy it for $50.
That's my point. Is I might have to leave Apple over this.
I don't
buy an Android phone for $50 or whatever I'm going to do. And all I'm saying is that because they keep ratcheting up the price of phones now too. I mean, think how much the average Apple iPhone costs. If you want a good one and you want the latest cameras and the latest stuff,
it's like $1,400.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And I understand that. Now, I'm not one that I would
So
use
for a husband and a wife, $3,000.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I'm just saying it's crazy town. Or you can do the rent plan and hope you don't
do the
get
rent.
your thing turned off.
But, look at the benefit of that. I don't know what the rent prices will be, but let's say, by the time you're done, you've paid 60% of the phone over that rent term. You're coming up with very little money, probably as much or less than you're paying for the actual service per month. And then when you're done with the phone. You don't own it. You don't have to worry about selling it. You don't have to, give it to your niece or something. You could just change it in for the next best phone a couple years later.
We'll see how well it turns out. I have my concerns, though. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just saying, I guess I'd rather rent music than rent a phone. Just because if I don't have my music, it's not life crippling. If I don't have my phone, hey man, I might not even get that job I was trying to apply for because nobody can get a hold of me or whatever.
Well, they could still call you even in that nerf mode. They can't text you though. That's an interesting thing though. They block the text.
Well, yeah.
So your two factors aren't going to work maybe, but
and a lot of times people don't call. These days people just don't call anyway. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. All right, there's a 4-minute charging sodium battery, Jay. They say that it could challenge lithium, but it's not road ready yet. But it's an interesting kind of a new concept or whatever. Chinese researchers have developed an experimental sodium metal battery that have achieved a 4-minute laboratory charge and a capacity of 80.1 million, what do they call it, hours per amp or whatever?
Yeah, milliamp hours.
Milliamp hours, okay. And it's especially designed to suppress the dangerous needle-like deposits. And so, anyway, they say it's going to be really cool. They can do it without short-circuiting, and it's awesome. Under a slower 20-minute charge, it retained about 90% of its capacity after 2,000 cycles. It could be really, really, really cool, Jay. It's not ready for prime time.
No.
But, man, if that comes out, that would be incredible.
The two big takeaways from this are that, A, it's using sodium instead of lithium, which is cheaper to get, and then, B, that they'll be able to rapid charge this thing, like maybe up to, in 4 minutes, get to like an 80% charge and not have as much damage. Those little crystals that grow, that short out the cells on the bottom when you're charging too fast. And so, I think it's good all around. They've been working on sodium batteries for a long time. I hope that it gets out there into the market because it would be good to have another option like that.
And I think it's supposed to be safer, right?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be safer, again, charge faster, and be less expensive for the minerals.
I can say, get me one of those, Jay. Can you do that?
I'll work on it and see.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, quick pause, more in seconds. This is Tech Watch. I'm Sam, he's Jay. We're talking tech. We keep an eye on tech so you don't have to. Brought to you by networkprovidersinc.com.
Introducing Managed
Okay, your
IT
mic
Services
went out again.
from NPI. We offer top-notch data backup and recovery, email spam protection, and network security tailored to your needs and budget. With 20-plus years of experience in the medical field, our HIPAA-certified consultants know what it takes to protect sensitive information. Don't settle for less. Give us a call at 801-706-6980 and experience the difference with Managed IT Services. Remember, your IT support should be fast, efficient, and reliable.
Cybercrime is exploding. Take Sarah from Sweet Delights, whose world crumbled after having to close with not being able to bounce back. Small businesses are prime targets, but the right strategies can keep yours safe. Jay Hill, CEO of Network Providers, has co-authored The Cyber Playbook Simplifies Cybersecurity for Business Owners with Strategies to avoid costly breaches and fines, build a strong cyber attack response, secure your business with key protections. Cyber threats aren't slowing down, but you can stay ahead. Protect your business. Ensure its security for tomorrow. Get the Cyber Playbook today at networkprovidersinc.com/cyber-playbook or call 385-446-5500 now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know how to respond to this kind of a story, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's weird as all get out. Scientists are proposing a giant plasma airbag to blunt the next solar superstorm, Jay. What do you think of this?
I think it's interesting, but I don't know. It's kind of like messing with stuff that maybe you should. It's like, I don't know that it'll work. It's so experimental. It's such a wild concept. I mean, I understand why they want to do it. They want to blunt the big solar storms and the radiation that comes if they can do it. I don't know. I kind of support the idea as far as trying, because, you know, if you got a big enough magnetic storm, it could really cripple a lot of the Earth electronically.
All right, so they want to put in 6 bus-sized satellites, roughly 22,500 miles above the Earth, to release, what do they call it, barium or calcium or other easily ionized gases. And they would basically have these up there ready, and then when they saw a solar storm coming, they'd release these gases.
Right.
And then the sunlight would transform the gases into a temporary plasma wall all along the sun's facing Earth magnetic field. It'd, I don't know, create a cushion, I guess, and just
it's kind of like shields up for the Earth, you know?
They say computer simulations suggest the proposed storm wall could cut a superstorm's force by more than half. And the 2024 geomagnetic disturbance, they say they would have cut that one as much as 84%. The idea could protect satellites, GPS communications, electrical grids, but it remains an unbuilt proposal that would cost billions. It would require
that's
extremely heavy launches and need extensive environmental testing before they roll it out, Jay. I think this idea is just goofball psychotic, because we have only simulations about its possible success.
We know nothing about its side effects.
And what we don't have is what repercussions will relate to this if we do it in the first place, Jay.
Right. We don't know what side effects it'll be. Releasing those kind of gases could do anything to anything. I don't think they've thought it through. I think it's great that they're working on it. It's a cool idea. I like the plan, but like, who's going to pay for it? Like, one country isn't going to pay to defend the entire Earth, right? I mean, maybe the U.S. will do that. I don't know, but it'll be hard to make happen. It's a great concept. You know, I applaud the effort, but like you said, it's very expensive, and also it seems like almost kind of like a one-time thing. I mean, you release all these gases unless you have loads of it where you can do it several times. How many times can you do that? It's a physical thing that you're studying. It's not like an electronic barrier or a shields up that you just power up and then you could do it as many times as you need. You're going to have to restock those things and stuff.
I think would be way better off trying to figure out how to harness the hardening of electronics and Faraday cage style kind of things. And
I would agree with that.
How can you? Anyway, all I'm saying is I think your money's much better spent on Earth doing those kinds of things, where it's like, hey, everybody has a Faraday cage and throw all your cell phones in here because this thing's coming, or,
Well, not only that, if you harden the electronics themselves, then you make it so much better for everything, for magnetic fields, for a nuclear EMP, or any of that kind of stuff. Your electronics become hardened and better, and I think that's a good plan.
Amen to that. All right, the final story of the hour I think that I want to get to, Jay. Waymo's driverless cars. Now, I went in one of those, did an episode where I was in one of those. Nobody was with me. Well, Zach was in the back filming, but it was just me. There was no driver and Zach in the car, and it was crazy.
Did the Waymo let you sit up front?
Yeah.
Wow.
They let me sit up front. I was sitting right by nobody.
Could you grab the wheel? Or was there even a steering wheel in it?
Was there a steering wheel, Zach? I can't remember. I think there was a steering wheel, yes, but I didn't try to grab it. No, I didn't try to interfere with the car, really.
That's probably good. It probably would have kicked you out.
Well, I tried to obey the rules and just see what it did, and it was actually pretty smart, and I was impressed with it. Now, here's the interesting thing. Waymo's driverless cars outshine human drivers in safety tests, new study finds.
No shock
now,
there.
This is an interesting safety test because it's in real-time, real-life tests. A recent independent analysis by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety now reveals that Waymo's autonomous vehicles are significantly safer than human-driven cars in major U.S. cities. The study, focusing on San Francisco, Phoenix, Los Angeles, and Austin, shows that Waymo cars experience 68% fewer police reportable crashes per mile than human drivers. Despite varying results across cities, the overall data supports the fact and the potential for autonomous vehicles to notably reduce collisions. The study does emphasize the need for improved data collection to better understand and evaluate the safety of driverless technology on a larger scale. I find this fascinating, Jay, because you and I have talked about this, and we said, hey, what's the real deal on this, and where does it stand, and how safe are they really? And after we were in one of those cars, we saw one almost get in a wreck. Here's the question. Was it because it was an autonomous car and it was smart enough to avoid the wreck that it didn't? We assumed it almost caused the wreck. But very, very strange. If we're already to that point, what's it going to be like with AI in around for the next 10, 15 years, and we get more cars on the road and more studies and everything else? Even if it's not the case now, even if these studies are flawed, it won't be long till it's beyond debate, Jay.
Well, this data is a stark contrast to what Tesla's saying. And I don't know if it's because of two different companies, but these guys are saying roughly that this car is twice as better as a human. Tesla's saying it's like 11-1, like a tenfold magnitude. So which is it? Is it that
Hold on,
Waymo?
tenfold magnitude that humans are better?
No, that drivered cars are better. Ones that without the
humans are better.
No, I think we're saying the same thing, maybe, but differently.
Tesla's saying humans are better by 10-1, 11-1.
No, it's saying that their automation is better than humans by 10-1.
Okay, and this company is saying 68% less, right?
And this company is saying, 2-1, basically, that their automation is better
But both
than
of them
human
agree
drivers.
with the point then, right?
They both agree that that automation is better than human drivers, yes. But that's a big difference, 11-1 versus 2-1. It's actually a little more than 2-1, but whatever. Just say 2.5 to 1 or whatever.
Maybe Tesla's just that much more awesome.
Maybe. But we also know that the Waymo cars have a lot of user or human intervention. I mean, you saw the story recently about the Waymo car. There were some kids, juveniles, whatever. They were shooting water guns out of the car that looked like real guns. And so the automation didn't do this, but somebody there at Waymo intervened, locked the car, called the police, and delivered them to the police station and didn't let them out until the police got there. So it's not as automation as we think sometimes, I think, with the Waymo.
Well, and that's the same with Tesla, with humans sitting there, and they always tell you don't let the car just take over. Make sure that you're at the helm. And so how often at the helm does a human do something? So we've got a lot the jury's out on this stuff so far. But I'm just telling you that if they're making those claims already, true or not, it won't be long till it is true.
Yeah, but I think that overall the takeaway we can all agree on is the automation is better than humans. It doesn't fall asleep. It doesn't get distracted. It doesn't, not that it's perfect. And of course, it's driving in an environment full of other humans, right? And randomness and potholes and everything else.
The question becomes, once you got, how much will it increase if the other side of the equation is not a human, it's an autonomous vehicle as well?
That's right. The
Because
sum may
they
be
can
greater
communicate
than
with one another, right?
Right. That's exactly right, because it may actually have some exponential value once you get a lot of cars.
So how long will it be till they're just going to kick all the humans off the road and say, you guys are unsafe, you're a problem, you're a hazard, get the heck off the roads?
I don't think they'll ever kick everybody off the road. It would be unreasonable. I mean, what if your automation is broken, but you still need to drive your car? But I think they may.
No, you don't go anywhere, buddy. When the driverless cars just shut down, they block whole city blocks and everything else. You're just down. It's kind of like what happens when you go to a store and the power's out and you can't buy anything. They just simply don't sell you anything anymore.
They may make licensing, though, a little more stringent, almost like a pilot's license where you've got to, qualify a little more. Right now, it's pretty lax. I mean, a 15-year-old, 16-year-old can get a license. It's like,
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another Tech Watch Radio, Tech Watch TV in the can. Thanks for being alongside for the ride. Hopefully it was educational and entertaining. You want to partner in tech? Think networkprovidersinc.com. The website for the show, npitechguys.com. I'm Sam, he's Jay, and we keep an eye on tech so you don't have to. Make it a great tech day, will you? Hey, thanks.